It's Friday the 20th of February from the MEN newsroom. This is Channel M's Lunchtime News and these are today's headlines. Labelled as at risk, more details come out about a one-year-old boy found dead with bruises at a house in Rochdale.
The Town Council put Leo Faulkner Parkhill on the Child Protection Register 3 months ago after doctors treated him for an injured arm.
Also coming up, the man who spent yesterday advertising himself for a new job beside the M60.
I've probably got about 3 months' funds left for my mortgage and then I'm in dire straits, so I'll be losing it.
We've got on how he got on. Plus, the little boy with a rare disease hoping to raise money for the hospital that's treating him.
One of the two aims of the Children's Appeal is to build family accommodation for families like us with ill children.
Good afternoon. First, a mum from Rochdale has denied having anything to do with the death of her 12-month-old son, found dead in his cot on Sunday. Leo Faulkner Parkhill's death is raising questions over whether Rochdale Social Services could have done more to help the youngster. Nina Warhurst has our top story.
Baby Leo was just a year old when his mum found him lifeless in his cot on Sunday morning. An initial post-mortem proved inconclusive. Baby Leo lived and died on this Rochdale estate, but about 3 months ago he was put on the social services at-risk register after he was taken to hospital with an injured arm that doctors feared had been wrenched. Now Leo's mum admits that he was on the at-risk register, but says that that doesn't mean that she or anybody close to Leo had anything to do with his death. Kelly Faulkner Parkhill told the Manchester Evening News, "You can ask anyone. I loved Leo. Everyone loved Leo. He was a happy baby. He passed away in his sleep. There was nothing that would give me a clue that he was unwell. This isn't fair. I did nothing wrong, and they're not letting me grieve for him." This is the second death in a month of a child known to Rochdale Social Services and being investigated by the police. And Rochdale Children's Services has refused to confirm or deny that Leo was on the at-risk register.
Well, we can never substantiate whether or not a child is known to us, and I think people will understand that we just can't do that. Whatever the circumstances, we can never say that.
But the council says they believe Kelly was having a party the night before Leo's death, something she denies. She also says while there may be some minute bruising on Leo's face, she believes this may have been caused by the family's frantic attempts to resuscitate Leo. Despite being on the at-risk register, Leo's family say they received little support from the council with just 4 visits from social workers. But the council say they did everything possible to support the family and that this tragic situation isn't being helped by what they describe as unwarranted claims. Further toxicology tests are being carried out to ascertain the specific cause of Leo's death, the results of which could take up to a month. Nina Warhurst, Channel M News.
A teenager is facing life in prison for murdering an innocent teenager after a petty argument in North Manchester over a computer game. 16-year-old Conor Black died after he was beaten and stabbed outside a house party last summer. Kevin Duffy's at Manchester Crown Court for the sentencing of Conor's killer.
Conor Black was studying joinery at Mancat College, and those who knew him described him as a lovely lad with a big smile. But his love for life and his hopes for the future were snuffed out after he went to a party in Moston last August.
He was a nice lad. He was in my school. He never got into trouble. If the only time he got into trouble, he'd sort it out by speaking it out, but never violence.
Outside the house where the party was taking place, Conor was confronted by a 16-year-old boy who first smashed a beer can against his head, then stabbed him with a knife, causing fatal injuries. The youth who inflicted the fatal injuries on Conor Black can't be named for legal reasons. But the jury who convicted the teenager last month were told during the trial that Conor was hit on the forehead with such force that the beer can burst open, spraying people nearby with lager. The attacker then took a kitchen knife from his trouser belt and, as Conor turned and stumbled away, he was stabbed in the back. Conor managed to run away while his attacker flung his arms in the air, bragging, "I'm the best." But soon afterwards, he collapsed on a nearby grass verge and died. Police believe that the killer wanted to confront Conor over the alleged theft of an Xbox computer games console. But the trial heard that there is no evidence that Conor was responsible for the theft. After the guilty verdict last month, Judge Clement Goldstone said he would not sentence the knife man immediately, but he warned that he would hand down a life sentence. A 17-year-old youth, who also cannot be named, was found not guilty of attempting to pervert the course of justice by trying to silence people at the scene and making threats. Kevin Duffy for Channel M News.
A footballer has appeared in court on a video link from prison accused of killing his former girlfriend from Farnworth in Bolton. Amy Lee Barnes worked as a model and had a part in Hollyoaks before she was found stabbed to death last October. Ricardo Morrison, who's 21, is accused of killing her. He'll be back in court next month to enter a plea. His mum, Melda Wilkes, who's a policewoman with the West Midlands Force and is charged with assisting an offender, was bailed until that next hearing as well. Next, an update on a story we first told you about yesterday. Jason Fruin from Salford turned himself into a human billboard to try to get himself a new job. He spent hours on the side of the M60.
I will be doing this until I get a suitable position where I'm earning enough to pay my way, to pay my bills. Thinking whether I should be changing my career into another way and doing something else. Engineering is dead.
Well, Jason joins us now in the studio. Jason, good afternoon. Thank you for coming in. First of all, how was it yesterday, all that time beside the side of the road?
It was cold, but it was a need to be done job.
Just how bad have things got for you work-wise?
The work-wise is very quiet. Engineering is basically, it seems to have gone underground. There isn't any. The job centres don't have anything suitable for engineering. It's all other like manual labouring jobs.
What sort of reaction were you getting from people as they were going past seeing you with your sandwich board on there?
I was getting a lot of positive beeps off the horn, off the people passing and people waving and shouting encouragement more than anything else. Keep going, you'll get something. And hopefully I will. I've got an interview this afternoon, so hopefully it'll work out. Well, I
was going to ask you about that because the question everybody does want to know is, have you got any firm work out of this? What sort of offers have been coming forward?
I've got people who's phoned me up this morning, and unfortunately my phone went flat, so I changed my SIM card over to my other phone and I've lost all the numbers of the other people. So if those who's phoned me up this morning can ring me back again, I'd appreciate that, and with the offers they have. But I've definitely got an interview this afternoon at a company in Trafford Park.
You must be very pleased after all of the effort.
Hard work pays, doesn't it? That's the way you're looking at it.
Well, fingers crossed for you that'll turn into some work, and well done on your stamina for staying there for so many hours as well.
Thank you.
Thanks for joining us this lunchtime. The number of people losing their homes has rocketed by more than 50% to hit a 12-year high. 40,000 properties were repossessed last year. A further increase is expected this year as the recession takes hold. There's a court appearance for a man accused of glassing the head teacher of a school in the face in Rochdale. Dad of three, Kieran Heekin, was eating out with two friends at an Indian restaurant when the assault happened on Tuesday night. Jermaine Bullen from Freehold's charged with assault and is due in front of magistrates. A search is on for whoever broke into a house in Northern Moor and sprayed an unknown substance into a teenage girl's face. The burglars tried to kick the back door open on Moorcroft Road before throwing an empty gas bottle through the kitchen window to get in. The family barricaded themselves into their bedrooms, but the intruders forced their way into the girls' room and sprayed a canister possibly containing CS gas. They then escaped empty-handed. Primary school teaching is being branded deficient in a new report. It's criticising the curriculum for focusing too hard on core subjects like maths and English and for having too much testing. It's suggesting devoting more time to subjects including history and geography. Time now for the sports headlines, and we're starting with Mike. Some breaking news from Old Trafford.
Here we are indeed, James. Thank you very much. The news is that Gary Neville has just signed a contract extension, which will keep him at Old Trafford until June 2010. Sam Goodman will have more on that story at 5 o'clock. Meanwhile, in the third test, some fantastic batting from the West Indian tailenders has denied England what at one stage looked like a certain victory. Having reached 3-2-2 for 8, the home side rallied to 370 for 9 before wisely accepting the umpire's offer to go off due to failing light. For their part, England will hope Thursday's fifth test in Barbados brings them better luck, where they could be without Freddie Flintoff. He's to undergo another scan on his troublesome hip later today. Kent's Amjad Khan and Essex all-rounder Ravi Bopara have already joined the squad should Flintoff be ruled out. Goals from Naden Manua and Stephen Islander and City a 2-2 draw against FC Copenhagen last night. The home side earning the draw deep into stoppage time. The return leg, that takes place at the City of Manchester Stadium on Thursday. We're going to entertain Castleford this evening and are expected to hand debuts to Carl Price and Sean Ainscoe. Richie Mathers remains suspended and there are injury concerns over Cameron Phelps, Pat Richards and Phil Bailey. Scrum half Brent Sherwin has been included in the visitor squad. And with both teams seeking their first win of the season, Wigan head coach Brian Noble told us he understands the frustration of the fans but isn't feeling any pressure.
I don't think it's pressure you feel, I think it's disappointment. You know, we're disappointed that we've not got a win up, but they only get a win if we perform well, and our performance last week on many other days would have got us a win, but it didn't. So we need to improve our performance again to make sure we're in the batting this week. Well, I mean, the players can only speak with their actions, and I can only speak with our actions. The club can. You know, we were extremely disappointed with what we dished up week one. And maybe people are quite right to scratch their heads and maybe say, was there an element of complacency? I don't know. This time of year requires a tough mentality to get over the line. You know, you see most games now, and they're not fantastic, flamboyant spectacles because the weather doesn't let you be fantastic and flamboyant, and most clubs are healthy. So you've got to play to your potential to get over the hill in relation to wins and losses, and I hope we've recognised that.
In rugby union, Sale Sharks host bottom club Bristol at Edgeley Park tonight, but fullback Nick McLeod isn't taking anything for granted. OK, that was the team news. We might have Nick McLeod for you a little later on. Collyhurst-based welterweight Michael Jennings faces ring legend Miguel Cotto for the vacant WBO welterweight title in New York tomorrow night, where he's going to begin the contest as a massive underdog. That's against an opponent who will be involved in his 14th consecutive world title bout. So Alex Ferguson joins us at 5 o'clock, looking ahead to tomorrow's fixture against Blackburn. And the early team news from Gig Lane is that Bury expect to welcome back Stephen Dawson for the Shakers game against Notts County. That's it from me for now, but please try and join Sam Goodman, who'll be taking a look to all this weekend's sporting action from 5 o'clock.
Mike, thank you very much for the update this lunchtime. Still ahead on the programme, the toddler raising money for the hospital treating the rare disease he suffers from, and we put Manchester University Challenge hopefuls to the test ahead of their appearance in the final.
Manchester Patines.
Well, after the team got put together, we used to start getting together maybe a couple of nights a week and doing some practice quizzes. And then once we got to know each other a bit better and what everybody else knew a bit better, we started to gel, and that's how we got where we did.
Welcome back to Channel M's Lunchtime News. We've got more of the day's main headlines between now and 1 o'clock. You can also go online to see more of our latest reports at channelm.co.uk, including the new campaign warning thousands of people here in Greater Manchester that they're at risk of heart disease, and a vicar speaks out about the terrifying ordeal she faced when confronted by attackers near her church. That's at channelm.co.uk. Police say they're still trying to track down some missing paintings, some by Ellis Lowry, that are worth up to £1.7 million. It's after a man from Denton was found guilty of stealing them from the home of art dealer Ivan Aird in Cheadle. Casey Miller from Denton will be sentenced for the theft next month.
Tell me where they are so we can get them back to the nation. There is in fact a £75,000 reward for the recovery of these paintings, and of course although there has been a result today and Casey Miller has been found guilty of this offence, he wasn't alone. There was at least 3 other people there. They are still dangerous criminals.
A toddler from Bury who suffers from a rare disease is starting an appeal to raise cash for the Manchester Children's Hospital where he's being treated. 17-month-old Rhys Dobson suffers from a degenerative condition called Lee syndrome. He's wanting people to take part in the Big Tea Break Challenge, where you could win the chance to have a cup of tea with Sir Alex Ferguson. Beverly Walkden's been finding out more.
The event is to ask families, work colleagues and people to get together and have their own tea parties to raise money for the appeal. The appeal is hopefully going to raise 20 million.
How will the new Children's Hospital help children like Rhys?
One of the 2 aims of the Children's Appeal is to build family accommodation for families like us with ill children. And when you have an ill child in hospital, it's obviously a very difficult time. So having a nice comfy bed, somewhere nice to stay, would make a dramatic difference. And also the appeal is to help fund for diagnosis of illnesses like Reece. And we were very fortunate that Reece was diagnosed within 24 hours, which was just fantastic really, because having an ill child and being absolutely frightened of what's happening, it was great that we didn't have to wait that long until we had some answers.
A group of thrill seekers say they thought they were going to die when the safety bar on a funfair ride failed in Oldham. A 31-year-old woman was taken to hospital with minor back injuries after a fault on the Miami trip ride that had made the visit up from Blackpool. Michael Todd from Royton suffered a broken rib when he tried to pull the safety bar back into place 15 feet in the air. His girlfriend and members of her family also suffered injuries to their necks after the bar hit them. A spokesperson for the fairground says the ride has been shut down while an investigation's on. The Justice Secretary stepped in to allow Jade Goody's fiancé Jack Tweedy to spend the night with her after their wedding this weekend. His curfew that was imposed after his release from prison would have stopped it. Jack Straw has stepped in to reflect what he's called the exceptional circumstances. The couple say they're absolutely thrilled. Europe's most advanced robot has arrived in Manchester. The walking, crawling iCub has made its first British appearance at Manchester University, but don't expect it to be able to go round cleaning the house just yet.
We're having a symposium on humanoid robots today, but we have a collaboration with the University of Manchester. They're helping us to develop the control systems for these robots. The iCub is a humanoid robot, so that's a robot built in the design of a human. It has most of the motions which you would actually get in a human. The humanoid robot, it's a very long-term piece of research. Looking forward into the future, the possibility of having robots which will work in a more human environment. And so we have a lot of Japanese researchers, Japanese industry are interested in the possibility of humans in the house, in the home, taking care of people, dealing with health care. And robots may be a solution.
Radcliffe film director Danny Boyle will find out this weekend whether his hit movie Slumdog Millionaire has had any success at the Oscars. The biggest event in the film world takes place in Hollywood on Sunday night, and film editor Kevin Burke from the Manchester Evening News reckons he's in with a chance of sweeping the board.
I think it's going to be a big night for Manchester at the Oscars this weekend, I should say. Danny Boyle, red hot favourite to win Best Director. Slumdog Millionaire, even hotter favourite to win Best Picture. They're also in line for another 8 in total, across although there's 9 different categories. Confusingly, they're nominated for Best Song twice, so they've got a pretty good chance of that. I reckon they've got a pretty good chance of about half a dozen altogether. Brits are going to be a good night for the Brits as well, I think. Kate Winslet, red hot favourite, Best Actress, I think. And both Winslet and Danny have got huge sort of momentum behind them after all the awards they've won in the last couple of weeks.
Next, students from Manchester University have made it through to the final of University Challenge. They'll be facing Corpus Christi College Oxford on Monday as they battle for the 2009 title. So, to help them prepare, we sent Ben Bland along to put them through their paces.
University Challenge. Asking the questions, Ben Bland.
Welcome to the library at Manchester University. Are these the brainiest students in Britain? We'll soon find out. They're one of the teams through to the final of University Challenge, having beaten Lincoln College Oxford 345 points to 30 in the semis. So let's meet the team. Henry Pertinez is 27 and is studying for a PhD in pharmacokinetics. Ruben Roy is 22, he's studying medicine. Matthew Yo, the team captain, is 25 and studying for a PhD in the history of the book. And Simon Baker, 21, studying politics and modern history. OK, your starter for 10. It's notoriously one of the most difficult quizzes on television. Most people watching fail to get even one question right. So how do you prepare for being on University Challenge?
Manchester Pertinez.
Well, after the team got put together, we used to start getting together maybe a couple of nights a week and doing some practice quizzes. And then once we got to know each other a bit better and what everybody else knew a bit better, we started to gel, and that's how we got where we did.
Jeremy Paxman is seen by many as cantankerous, bad-tempered and aggressive. What's he like in person? I won't have to hurry you.
Manchester Roy.
When we first went on, he was a bit rude to us because he mentioned that, in his opinion, the team was too professional because Manchester has been on the show many times. So, well, that was there. But as time went on, he became friendlier, and especially toward the end. So, yeah, I think it was good.
Most people wouldn't have a clue how to form a team to appear on University Challenge. So how did your team form and when?
Manchester Yale.
I formed about a year ago, two-part process, a paper quiz and a buzzer quiz. The most successful participants in the paper quiz were invited to a buzzer quiz. The top 4 fastest buzzers were selected for the team, but it wasn't a question of just choosing the 4 fastest buzzers, it was also the 4 people whose knowledge complemented each other, so we were able to play as a team with a body of knowledge rather than just specific, detailed knowledge.
There are very few people who can say they've been on University Challenge and fewer still who can say they've got through to the final. So what will be your lasting memories of being on the show? Come on.
Manchester Baker.
Well, I think the main thing that I take out of it is what good fun it was. I met some great people and got to appear on television, which is something I'll hopefully be dining out on for many years to come.
Well, they seem to have fared OK with those questions, but how will they do in the final? You can tune in on Monday the 23rd of February to find out. In the meantime, their coach is incredibly proud of what they've achieved.
They've done fantastically well. They've made it through to the final. They've got some very high scores, some great margins of victory, and I'm absolutely delighted with them.
Delighted we are indeed, and we wish them the very best of luck. Before he left them, the team gave Ben some questions for you at home to have a go at as well. Here's one for you. There's a statue of the American President Abraham Lincoln in Greater Manchester. We want to know, where is it and why is it there? If you know, text us on 88821, starting your message with the word news, or you can email us as well, newsdesk@channelm.co.uk. No prizes, but if yours is the first correct answer, we'll give you a mention in the news later on. And thanks as well to Richard in Flixton, who correctly answered this morning's question that Manchester United started out as L&Y Railway FC. Let's take a look at the weekend's weather now. Michelle Eagleton has the details.
Well, it's been a cold day across Greater Manchester, highs of 7 and 6 in most places, so it is pretty much the day to wrap up nice and warm if you are planning on going outdoors. And this morning we did see a lot of fog around places, dark cloud as well. That was from 9 o'clock onwards, and it really did dominate up until about 11 o'clock in the morning. We are going to see a little bit of a change this afternoon. We might see a few showers across the region, but really not much to worry about if you are heading out and about, like I say, because those showers are going to be brief. Now that's the picture I was telling you about before, really some heavy cloud, but brief, some sunny spells did tend to break up all that monotony, and it was quite nice earlier on this morning and into the afternoon, so not all been doom and gloom for you, although like I say, those showers should be around tonight, though they will clear up. Tomorrow, pretty much the same picture as today actually for Saturday. Sunday, Monday and Tuesday staying mainly dry. Those temperatures are getting nicer, highs of 10 expected on Monday.
This is Friday's Lunchtime News. Our top stories so far today. It's emerged a baby boy found dead in his cot at a house in Rochdale had been put on the at-risk register 3 months before he died. Leo Faulkner Parktill's lifeless body was discovered by his mum, who tried to resuscitate him last weekend. Police and children's services are investigating. We'll have more on that and the rest of the day's news with Andy Crane from 5 o'clock tonight. But from me and the Lunchtime team, have a good weekend. Bye-bye for now.